Hi everyone, and welcome to this new video. Today, we're going to look at how the schedule trigger node works. In the previous video, we saw how the when started node works, a trigger node that lets you run the workflow manually and perform certain manual actions. Today, we're going to look at how the schedule node works. To use it, we'll go to the side panel showing all available nodes. Then navigate to Trigger. We'll select the Schedule node and place it here in our canvas. Next, I'll disconnect this connection and create a new one with the Schedule node we just added. If we double-click the node, we'll see that it requires a number of parameters. Since this is an extremely powerful node, there are many different parameters it can take into account. Here, you can see a few instructions, but for more details, you can access the documentation by clicking on Documentation. So, this node takes rules as parameters. It can have multiple rules, and each rule defines a condition for triggering it. These conditions are combined using an OR operator. That is, we can specify when this rule is matched, or when that rule is matched, and so on. Let's take an example. First, for each rule, we define the trigger interval. I can choose seconds and specify that I want the workflow to run every 15 seconds, or every 20 minutes, or every day. It's possible to define the number of days between two executions. I can set it to every 2 days. It's also possible to define the hour and the minutes. So here it will be every 2 days at 10:30 a.m. I can also define it by weeks, specify the number of weeks between two executions. Next, we have the days of the week. For our example, we can choose Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. It's also possible to set the time. So with these rules, this workflow can be run every 7 weeks. And within each week, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, at 2 p.m. and 14 minutes past the hour, at 2:14 p.m. I've set up several rules for this workflow. For the purposes of this video, to keep things simple, we're going to remove all those rules and stick with just one. This means the workflow will run every 15 seconds. Once the changes are saved, you'll automatically see a 1 next to the extension icon. This number corresponds to the number of scheduled workflows. So if I click Disable, the number disappears, which simply means this workflow is inactive. In the previous video, we saw that when a workflow is inactive, it doesn't appear in the context menu. Once the workflow is enabled, it will automatically run every 15 seconds. We also saw in a previous video that in order to run workflows triggered by the context menu, the side panel must be closed. This rule also applies to the background execution of scheduled workflows. So, we're going to close it now. After 15 seconds, the workflow runs automatically. If we wait another 15 seconds, the workflow will run again. Great! That's all for this video. Once again, if you need more details about Commode and how the node schedule works, feel free to visit the documentation page to see all the details and explanations we've provided. Thanks, and see you next time!